Team Freeview, welcome to this special Voxcast reviewing Psychic Awakening.
Whoa.
And we're not reviewing Adeptus Sororitas.
You don't get that.
But we did get both at the same time. So thank you so much to Games Workshop for allowing us to preview these books. We're very, very fortunate to be able to do so. And we're very lucky to have some models to go with this. Which Sanger has got on his painting desk now.
Yes.
Now, obviously, that'll take a little while because we want to paint them as nicely as we possibly can, and by we I mean Sanger. But what we will do is we've got a battle report coming up with Mr. Beards using his existing Sororitas army, and we'll show off these lovely new rules in that, because why not?
Yeah.
But we will kick off with Psychic Awakening, Faith and Fury. So, Chaos Space Marine fans, we have some additional bits in here for you. And Space Marine fans, guess what? There's some additional bits in here for you too. There's a lot of additional bits for you, in fact.
The chapter that keeps on
okay
giving.
there, Chef? Doing okay?
Trying to remain calm. I've been given a very strict time limit.
Yes, so this we're not going to go as in-depth with this review as we've done on previous reviews, mainly for the reason that a lot of it's already out there. A lot of it's been previewed by Warhammer community. Go check it out on their website. As of watching this, I suspect when we release it, it will still be in the pre-order week, so you can grab your copy. My initial impressions, we're just going to go over all three initial impressions, and then we'll briefly cover each of the factions. But my initial impressions are, if you're a Space Marine player right now, you're in an extremely strong place. I would argue that your book is the strongest in the game.
Yep.
And this just makes it even better.
Yep.
There is nothing bad. You just get a whole bunch of free stuff in here. That's my initial impression. Black Templar fans, and I'm a big fan of Black Templars myself. I think the Crusading chapter is really, really cool. It's nice to see that they've now got a little bit more meat to them, a little bit more substance, if you like. You've got your own litanies in here, which are really, really cool, which makes sense for Black Templars. It's a very fluffy choice, having chaplains and you know, to go with the cruise, because you don't have librarians. They're a crusading army. So yeah, we'll cover them in a little bit of detail in a moment. What are your initial impressions, Chef? Remember, you are limited here.
Limited.
Initial impressions.
So, yeah, pretty much echoing that. If you are a Space Marine fan, you are loving life already, have some more free stuff. If you're a Chaos Space Marine fan, we're really sorry. You can have some token stuff, but you don't get the cool stuff.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, I would pretty much agree with that. However, I would caveat by saying there are a couple of very interesting combos for Chaos. But they're very specific, and if you're not doing that Legion, I hope you've got your Legion painted generically so that you can at least try and take advantage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's just without wanting to come across as too negative, everyone. I know a few people have messaged me about my thoughts on this and asked for my honest thoughts on this. It doesn't fix Chaos Space Marines.
No.
All this book really does is enhances Space Marines further.
Yes.
It doesn't resolve any of the issues. There are no 2-wound cult troops in here. There's no points changes. You don't get enhanced Legion traits. You get some really cool stratagems. You get some nice new warlord traits. You get some flavorful relics. And as you say, there are some really, really cool tricks you can do.
There are some good tricks. Before it's all doom and gloom, there are some good tricks.
There's some nice tricks, but the problem is that inherently is the problem. They're tricks. Yeah. They're not, it's not raw power. Here is a fix to the problems of your army.
No, it's not raw power.
That's the issue.
Would you agree with that, Bone?
Yeah, I would.
Anything to add to it?
Not really. It's just the difference that you can see, for example, at the beginning of this book is a supplement, right, for the Black Templars. And so you read through that and there's all this great stuff. And then you get to all of the other Chaos Legions and there's like two and a half pages of stuff. And so you can just see the stark difference in comparison between the two, literally in the same book.
Yep.
So it is hard for you to not go, ugh.
Yeah.
Like I really was hoping that they would get a bit more. Having said that though, like just reading through, there are some really cool stuff that you can do.
There are actually.
Night Lords have some really interesting stratagems now, which are fantastic for shutting down your opponent's aura abilities and stuff like that. And I find that really interesting. Yeah. The World Eaters are like way more killy now. And all the strategies are called like maim, kill, burn, and all this sort of stuff. And
it's very flavorful.
Like it adds some nice flavor to those legions. Is it enough to pull them up to the same sort of levels that we're seeing? Like salamanders came back from literally nowhere.
No.
It's not the same. It's just not the same league, and that's disappointing. I would be slightly disappointed. Well, not even slightly. I would be disappointed if I was a Chaos fan.
I think you hit the nail on the head. The fact that it's in the same book makes it even starker.
Yeah.
All that I feel that was missing, and we were talking about this. So let's just flick open to the Heretic Astartes bit. Word Bearers is the first one I come up to, and it's so similar in layout to the Space Marine supplements. Introduction, Warlord traits. If your army, if you have a Word Bearers detachment, it is still treated as a Chaos Space Marines detachment, but here's some extra stuff. All they needed to do was have a little bit at the beginning saying, in addition, if every model in your army has the Word Bearers keyword, you gain the following Favor of Chaos rule.
Whatever.
And Word Bearers could then be like, everyone has a 5-up invuln save World Eaters, everyone gets +2 to advance and charge.
Whatever it might
have been. I'm just literally making up some nonsense there. It's
No.
not in there, but it's a paragraph that could have been in there and then would have suddenly gone, actually, you know what? Here's a reward for playing pure. Here's something that is similar to the supplement level. Alas, no, we will have to wait longer.
Yes. It doesn't fix the fact that ultimately Space Marines have just had a brand new codex and real supplements. And the Chaos only got the version 2.0. And so when you're dealing with a core book, it's like me putting in a specialist detachment for Grey Knights. It might add some cool new tricks, but it's not going to fix the core issues with the Grey Knight Codex, and there are core issues with the Chaos Codex, which are only, greatly exacerbated by the new Space Marine Codex. Yeah. So, look, that's the initial impression. Having said that, let's now go over it in a little bit more detail. We will kick off with the Space Marine stuff, and then we'll go over the Chaos stuff, because actually, if I was a Chaos player, whilst I would be, I wish I was like as powerful as Space Marines, I do have a couple of things in there which would really interest me. And frankly, guys, playing the new, hottest, hardest army isn't actually always the most fun. I actually prefer playing the underdog because it makes your victory that much sweeter. So with that in mind, let's cover the Space Marine stuff first. That's coming up next. Right, folks, let's kick off with the Black Templars themselves. So, Knights of Sigismund is something that you get. Whilst the Assault Doctrine is active when resolving an attack made with the melee weapon by a Black Templars model with this ability against a unit that is not a vehicle, in a turn in which that model made a charge move or performed a heroic intervention, an unmodified roll of 6 automatically scores a hit and successfully wounds the target. That's pretty cool.
It's nice. It's a nice little boost. I think it does, hammer home them being these, massive knightly warriors. Yep. And I quite like the fact that there is the caveat of it not working against vehicles, because they'd almost be like, there's no honor in just chopping up a tank, whereas a monster or an actual warrior, they would relish the challenge, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So High Marshal Helbrecht, he's basically your chapter master equivalent. He's got all of your rerolls that you would expect for your 6-inch aura. He's I wouldn't say he's a massive beat stick in combat. I mean, his weapon's got D3 damage.
He's good.
He's good, and he basically counts as strength 5, because +1 strength.
Yeah.
But really, he's there for your aura rerolls. He's got the Crusade of Wrath. Add 1 to the strength characteristic of friendly Black Templars models whilst they're units within 6 inches of this model. So again, he's a force multiplier, right? Yeah. He's there to try and help your your Black Templars hit. And then, of course, if you get into combat, he's there to help them hit a little harder, which is nice.
Yeah. When he does charge, though, he is making in the minimum 7 to 9 attacks.
Yeah, he's got a lot of attacks.
Strength 6 -3 and D3 damage.
I think he's only strength 5 though.
Well,
but his own ability,
Crusader and he has Crusader of Wrath, which is so he's strength 6.
It's not bad.
He's not shabby for a normal Marine.
Does have a 2+ save as well.
Yeah, he's got 2+4+. He's still beefy.
Empress Champion improved. He's a bit of a beast.
So good.
The Slayer of Champions. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by this model against an enemy character unit, you can re-roll the hit roll. So that shows that he's there to seek out the enemy warlord, which is quite cool. Sigismund's Honor, add 1 to this model's strength and attacks characteristic whilst it's within 1 inch of an enemy character model. So he's re-rolling hits. He's then hitting at strength 5, 6, 7. If he's next to Hellbrecht, he'll actually be hitting at strength 8. Which is pretty cool.
Which is great.
His damage is also D3. However, when you're resolving your attacks against a character or a monster unit, you can re-roll the wound roll, and for me, that's really significant.
Yeah.
That gives you great quality. He's also got a 2+ save as well, incidentally.
Yeah, and it's -1 to hit in combat.
Yeah, which is skillful
which
parry.
is just a new ability for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he always had like the extra attacks and strength and the re-rolls and stuff, but then they just went for the same points, have -1 to hit in combat. But yeah, he's just deflected. He's so cool. He's so awesome. He's an absolute bargain.
I love the old. I love this new the newer Empress Champion model. But do you remember the old one with the sword down?
Stand like
exactly.
holding it like that. Oh,
Right.
It was the Games Day model.
That's right.
It's great.
Right, Chaplain Grimaldus. Pretty much the same as before, except you've now got your own bunch of litanies, which is really cool. He's also got Litany of Hate. If this litany is inspiring, you can re-roll hit rolls for attacks made by melee weapons for friendly Black Templars units. Oh no, that's not new at all.
No, that's the standard one.
That's the standard one.
But his rule changed to be on modified 6s. Make an extra attack now, rather than it being on a 6+. I believe he also gained Devout Puritan. I don't think that's a...
can make a Deny the Witch test and say manage a
I don't think that's old. I think that is a new one. And he can do 2 litanies from the litanies of battle.
Yes, because he's basically taking the template of these
well, he has the keyword Master of Sanctity, which will become important later.
Yeah, so you'll see that there are upgrades that can be given to all Space Marines now. Cenobite Servitors, I'm not really going to go into this too much. Relic of Hell's Reach, when a model in a friendly Black Templars unit is within 6 inches of this unit, it would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, roll a d6 and a 4+, it's not lost. It's a cool little bonus, but it's not. It's
nothing major.
Cry home about. Then we got the Crusader Squad, which seem to have gone up slightly in points.
They are the same points as they used to be in the old Space Marine Codex, so 13 points, despite being, for all intents and purposes, the same as a Tactical Marine, who are now 12 points.
Yes. And we've got paired combatants. Whilst this unit contains at least as many neophytes, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a neophyte in this unit, reroll a hit roll of 1. Yeah, okay. I mean, the reality is, guys, if you're building this Crusader squad to be a combat-centric squad, you're probably running it near your Master Hellbrecht anyway, you know.
Yeah.
You're not going to invest that many points in a combat marine squad, which still only
It's only got 1 base attack.
1 base attack and chainswords and shock assault.
So you're basically better off going for the Primaris, in my opinion.
At that point, yeah.
Which is a shame. I'd like to see a more valid reason to run them, but I'm not seeing it.
Well, I think
on my initial.
I think they can still.
You've got special weapon. You've got access to more special weapons. Sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, so what you used to be able to do with Crusader squads was you could take a 5-man squad with a special and a heavy weapon.
That's
you could run MSU Las.
Back in the day, back when.
But now it's a 5-man has a special or one of the melee weapons. So I mean, you can throw in a couple of melee weapons in there. You've got the neophytes as sort of ablative wounds, but they've got that cool fluffy ability which is lost the minute that you lose a casualty. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're like, right.
Yeah.
Then you got a whole set of litanies, which is cool. It's good to have even more special stuff for your chaplains. Were there any that I thought Litany of Divine Protection 6-inch ignore wounds on a 5+ was pretty cool.
Yeah, so upgrade your chapter trait to be always on a 5+.
Yeah.
I mean, the winner
so if
here
you wanted to do a horde sort of Black
Yeah.
Templars running at you, kind of cool.
Which is
cool.
it's the one friendly unit. I think the winner for me is Fires of Devotion.
Oh yeah, it's only one. Yeah, you're right.
+1 attack
Yeah.
to a unit within 6
Yeah.
when they charge or heroically intervene.
Yeah.
The others are okay. Here's my problem.
We roll
with
wind
those.
roll of 1, but I mean, again, if you've got a lieutenant nearby,
Yeah.
you know, it depends. It really depends.
Yeah. The thing is, they're okay.
Yeah.
My problem with these, which will become apparent when we go on to the normal chapters litanies, those are instead of the ones that you have in the codex.
Right.
The other chapters get it in addition to the one in the codex.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, that's interesting.
So if it was you can
I missed
pick
that
one of
too.
these in addition, but it specifically says instead of knowing litanies from the litanies of battle,
Right.
and then if you were a white scar, it says you know this, as well as the ones from litanies of battle.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
But they're
that's-
more Puritan and zealous. Why?
They should have access to all
They
of
should.
them.
They should have the. Pick one in addition.
It's a bit like how I think Grey Knight should have access to all
Librarius,
of the different...
and
exactly.
but they don't.
Anyway, right, Warlord traits, again, like we're not going to go into each individual one, but they're generally pretty fluffy. There isn't any that jumped out of me as being hugely competitive. A lot of them, you get add 1 to the total for a denied a witch test, and you can attempt to resist a power, epitome of piety. You've got some fluffy things in there. Frontline commander.
It's probably the best one.
Yeah, when a friendly Black Templars unit within 6 inches of this warlord advances or makes a charge move, add 1 to the advance roll or charge roll, which is neat.
It's good, and remember you're re-rolling both of those as well. So actually, you are bombing it down that board quite quickly.
Yes. Which
the others
is
are
cool.
The others are okay.
Were there any of the stratagems? So you've got a page of 8 stratagems here. Were there any of the stratagems that really jumped out at you, Chef?
There's a couple which are cool. Tenacious Assault is quite nice if you sort of use it correctly. So basically, it's 2 CP. If you pick an infantry unit that can't fly within. That's really weirdly worded. Use this stratagem in the movement phase when an enemy infantry unit that does not have the flyer battlefield roll, of which there should be none, because if you have the flyer battlefield roll, you're a plane.
That's correct.
But regardless, if you are within an inch of a Black Templars infantry unit from your army and they choose to fall back, roll a dice on a 2+. They're not allowed to. So it's 2 CP to roll a dice and on a 2+ say, no, you stay in combat, which can be quite nice.
It can be good, to shut someone down.
Yeah.
But it's 2 CP.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And you could still potentially, if it was 2 CP, they just cannot fall back. Actually, you know what? That's really strong.
I quite liked Vicious Riposte, because if
It's
you're
very
facing
fun.
like a horde
Yeah.
and they roll all of their attacks, basically if you roll any saves of a 6 unmodified, they take a mortal wound.
Yeah.
So if someone's rolling 50 attacks at you or something.
It's
I
very
like shock.
Yeah, Shock
You like
and Roll
Shock and
is
Roll?
It's
strong.
just because it's cool.
Select 1 Black Templars infantry unit from your army that disembarked from a Land Raider Crusader this turn.
Yeah.
Till the end of that turn, enemy units cannot fire Overwatch at the selected unit, and when resolving an attack made against that unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll.
So
It is
you're
quite cool.
you're building a list around that stratagem.
Oh, yeah,
but
of course.
also that's really
It
cool.
is,
Like
yeah.
all of these guys pour out of the Land Raiders, all these
'Cause
las
they can still
cannons
hold
firing.
15, right? 15 or 16.
16, I believe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that could be cool. Maybe good fun.
Right, then they've got some relics. Witch Seeker Bolts I thought were quite good for D3 mortal wounds on a Psyche unit. It has to shoot with a bolt weapon. Sort of Judgment, flat damage 3, pretty cheeky.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
I remember reading something that there was a litany that could give a unit. We give it to a unit as well, or a
For what?
stratagem. The Witch Seeker Bolts. Remember?
Really?
There's a stratagem which is similar to the other. What are they called? Supplements, where you can pick like a sergeant type character to give them a
Yes.
specific type of
Yes.
relic. So you could put like Witch Seeker Bolts on
that's it.
an
Crusader
Eliminator
relics,
Sergeant,
yeah.
for example.
Yeah,
So
it's quite
now
cool.
your Eliminator Sergeant is going to shoot a Psyker.
Yeah, and if it hits
Do his
score,
damage
D3 mortal wounds.
in addition to the normal damage.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So
That is
he-
pretty
I
cool.
liked that.
Yeah, he can really put the hurt out on
Yeah.
the Psykers. Crusader's Helm is probably the best one there though.
Add 3 inches to the range of this relic's aura abilities to a maximum of 12.
Which is what they used to have, but then they made it even better by going, just pick a unit and they have Assault Doctrine this turn instead of the norm.
Which you kind of want for your Black Templars.
Absolutely,
you're kind of being encouraged to build like a combat-based army, really.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So, which is totally cool. Ancient Breviary's not bad. You roll 2d6 for your litanies and pick the highest.
Oh, that is good. That is very strong,
actually. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, because your litanies can be really quite strong.
Yeah, and let's face it, if you're building a combat army, you're probably going to have some chaplains in there. So look, that's the Black Templars. There's nothing revolutionary in there, but you've already got amazing rules just with your core Space Marine units. So you can't go too far wrong on this, guys, to be honest.
Was there all the new chapter specific litanies and stuff as well, not just the Black Templars?
So I've started at the Black Templars, but we'll go over.
We'll go back.
We'll go over those extra cheeky little bits just coming up next, actually. So thanks for leading us in.
That's all right.
That's
like
next.
We planned it. We didn't.
So we've got the new Masters of the Chapter. So rather than just a Chapter Master now, we've got, as has been written in the fluff, things like Master of the Forge, Master of Sanctity even. And that basically means that you've got the head honchos of each type of discipline that the Space Marines have within their own chapters, which I think is very cool. However, it is just another buff that you can do, and they're very cheap. They're only 1 CP. Unlike a Chapter Master, which is still 2 CP.
It's 2 CP,
yes.
Which I think is a reasonable amount. I would have preferred it to be 3 CP, and even with these, I think 1 CP is too cheap for some of them.
They're varying in power.
It's not like a specialist attachment where you pay a CP and you get a keyword, and then that unlocks other things that you can then use. Like if it was 1 CP and you become a Master of Sanctity. And that allows you to use the following warlord traits or relics or what have you. Instead, here's a Master of Sanctity for 1 CP. Here is your rule. Let's make it even better. So it's like a Chapter Master in that regard, as well as giving you these extra.
And it lets you do 2 litanies instead of 1.
Well, Master of Sanctity allows you to do 2 litanies,
which is actually really good.
Huge for 1 CP. It's not the most broken thing in there. That is a very contentious upgrade, which we will cover, I'm sure.
Okay. So each of the chapters, White Scars, Iron Hands, Imperial Fists, Ultramarines, Salamanders, and Raven Guard now get an additional litany, which they know for free.
Yep.
And they're good.
The Imperial Fists one, which is, the Imperial Fists are already arguably incredibly powerful, have one of the best ones, which is if this litany is inspiring, then when resolving an Overwatch attack made by a model in a friendly Imperial Fist unit within 6 inches of this model, a hit roll of 5 or 6 scores a hit. So they've now got the Iron Hands Overwatch on a unit. Granted, it's just a unit, but it's just literally, it's not an aura. Within 6 inches of this.
Yep, it's an aura.
That's what I was saying before. I was like, wow, okay.
Remember that your 6s are exploding as well.
Yes, that's certainly
unnecessary.
Good news, everybody.
A free shooting phase.
Yeah, it's a free shooting phase. Very accurate.
But 6s, but 6s
you should be near
and 6s are exploding. Yeah.
I'm not going to go over more of those litanies. So, Master of Sanctity, Master of the Forge, Chief Librarian, Chief Apothecary, Chapter Ancient, Chapter Champion. And that's it. So I'm not going to go over all of them. You get the idea that basically you upgrade each of these characters and they become a better version of what they were. What are the 2 that stick out in your mind? Do you have any that you liked right off the bat?
Quite frankly, with all the new litanies and stuff like that, I think Master of Sanctity is great. To have 2 of them running concurrently is really good.
Sure.
It's really good.
Well, it is.
And then,
and they get access to a Warlord trait, Wise Orator, so you can re-roll the dice to determine if you're inspiring.
Or if you wanted to, you could add 3 to, you could take Bellowing Firebrand, and you can add 3 to the range of the Spiritual Leader ability. So if we take Imperial Fist for an example, it's now everyone's overwatching on 5s and 6s in a 9-inch bubble.
That's massive.
That's huge, right? And then not only that, you can use there's heaps of stuff that you can do. So you'll be re-rolling all of those hits with your chapter master as well for your castle.
Yep.
It's really powerful.
Yeah.
It's really powerful, and exploding on 6s as well. Imperial Fists just got real good.
Yeah.
I mean, they already are really
are.
good, but like their defensive output just increased by about 30%.
Yeah.
So I think that in particular really stood out for me when I read all that. I was like, wow, you can make that really powerful.
Yourself, Chef?
I raise you the Master of the Forge.
Okay.
Master of the Forge, 1 CP. 1 CP.
Yep.
You just heal flat free.
Yep.
Oh, that's not too bad,
This
Chef.
is like Pharos,
That's
basically.
okay. You know,
Yep.
healing flat free is all right. Yeah, that's not what you take him for. You take him for Master the Machine. This is a 6-inch aura of all of your vehicles get +1 to hit.
Yep.
Why?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Why? Like, honestly,
It's so good.
it's just insanely good.
Especially when you roll it in with everything else.
Do you know what's really
it's
crazy
just
about
insane.
this? There's no reason why you can't have Pharos and this guy.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do this on Pharos.
No, you can't do it on Pharos, but you could do this on a normal Tech Marine.
Yeah, you could do it on a normal Tech Marine.
So you could have Pharos healing 3 and a normal Tech Marine healing 3,
Yeah.
and then the Iron Hand Stratagem to do another 3. So as in because you can heal again.
Yeah, so you heal. Pharos makes one of them 2 up to hit. The other one just gives them a flat +1 to everyone in an aura. It's just it's utterly insane.
It's really.
I mean,
strong.
you are I mean, this is the odd thing for me is you kind of look at it and you go, oh yeah, but you know, you'd be spending 2 CP on this guy, and then a CP there, and then another CP for the chapter relic, and another CP for the hero of the chapter, and a CP for. You go, oh yeah, but you've spent 6 out of 9 CP at the beginning of the game. I don't care. I'm re-rolling everything and hitting on 2, so I don't really
it
mind.
comes to the point where you
I don't need the CP.
You
No,
can
you actually
spend
don't
your
need
strats
stratagem.
pre-game because you won't need them during the game.
Yeah.
Because you're just the quality of your units and the value you get is so good.
I mean, with that, you may as well just say to your opponent, shall I just hit with everything?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's you know, unless you are, you know, stacking the minuses to hit, and even then you kind of go, well, it's still probably going to be 4s re-rolling. By the time you've accounted for all the, I mean that to me just, if that was one vehicle within 6, it would still be incredibly good.
Yeah.
To affect
the fact
all
it's
of
an
your
aura
vehicles
is incredible.
seems a bit much.
Right, so obviously we've got Chief Librarian. One of his traits is adding 1 to the psychic test, which is quite neat.
Yeah.
Chief Apothecary, which I think he automatically heals a guy.
He can re-roll to determine
re-roll
if
the
he,
dice, yes.
but only to determine if he brings someone back to life. He doesn't get to re-roll the wounds that he heals to an injured guy.
Yes.
Now, but then you look at that and you go, is that worth 1 CP versus the Master of Sanctity or the Master of the Forge?
Well, the thing is, you'd want if you want to go really resilient Iron Hands, you could then go Chief Apothecary with the Warlord trait, Father of the Future, because it stacks with the Flesh's weak power, so it's a 6-inch aura
Of a 5-up shrug.
of ignoring wounds on a 5-up. You know, I mean, you could, and then you've obviously got Pharos nearby. They've got 5-up Invon.
Yeah. You can.
There are ways. It's very cool because there's lots of different combinations you can do.
Yeah.
But they're so strong.
Yeah.
They're all really
There's
good.
a couple
That's
of
the thing.
combinations that you can get and do to make these things better than they already are.
Yes.
Now, if you'd have said like, oh yeah, give that to Chaos would be like, oh, that's really good.
Yes, please.
That's really awesome. The fact that you've given that to an army that's already incredibly strong is just, whoa, why?
Yeah. Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You know, we can say how powerful Space Marines are until the cows come home.
And you know.
We know it. There's nothing. We're not saying anything new there. It feels to me that the book was written in a very different way and format. You know, we've not seen supplements like that before, anyway, to any of the previous books.
No.
So in that respect, that means that when the next books come round for whoever's going to be next, we are going to expect to see this new format for them, and they'll probably be really incredible as well. So things always come around, but right now, as the meta currently sits, I think Space Marines are just so blatantly more powerful than everyone else that it's just hard to deny. Which now will lead us into the chaos, because you'll see the disparity of power.
It's pretty nuts.
Substantial.
It's pretty nuts.
So look, why don't we cover the Chaos?
Yeah,
that's coming up next. Right, so Chaos Space Marines, Heretic Astartes, you've got a Champions of Ruin page, which is pretty much consolidating things like Hateful Assault, Malicious Volleys. And then we do get something new, which is quite cool, which is Demon Weapons. Some of these are rather interesting, including Quack the Boundless, which ignores invulnerable saves with your sword, D3 damage, pretty cheeky.
Nice.
However, the Rapacious Talons, strength user, -2, damage 2. It's a Slanesh model specifically, and it does say that when you roll for your demon ability, because this is like the old traditional demon weapons, on a 2+, you can hit. On a 1, you take a mortal wound and can't attack. In this instance, on a 2+, you get that many additional attacks as well, which is really, really neat. And you can re-roll to wound because, of course, they're basically paired lightning claws.
Yep. Nice.
So yeah,
you
really,
can
really nice.
Demon Prince.
Yep. Yeah, really, really nice. Big fan of that. And Emperor's Children have got some really nice benefits as well if you are playing an Emperor's Children army. You got Azal the Wrathful, which is damage 2, -5 swords. And it's on a 2+, add a number to this weapon's strength characteristic equal to the result. So you can have a pretty nasty sword on your Demon Prince or Khorne Lord, which is alright. Fist of Decay, big old Nurgle Power Fist, flat damage 3, which is quite nice. And then you've got the Black Axe, which is an interesting one. It's just strength user, damage 1, but every wound of a 4+ inflicts a mortal wound. And it replaces a Force Axe, Power Axe.
It's essentially...
or Demonic Axe.
I mean, it's essentially the same as Castellan Crow's sword if he was to give into the demon power within it.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
He doesn't.
But he should.
He's a bad man.
He should give it to the demon,
to.
but the sword should do something.
Yeah.
The sword of Antwer should do something.
That's...
Anyway,
it's an interesting way that they're incorporating those sorts of like black demonic weapons.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
Carved in runes.
I like it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Really
but it is cool. Like, and it's nice to have the additional relics. Like some of them, like the claws are actually really good, guys.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to undersell them here. You know, the claws are actually really good. A lot of the demon weapons are actually quite interesting. You've then got the word bearers. Okay. So unlike the normal the new Space Marine supplements, you're not getting anything additional, as you've already said, for being, you know, if every model in the detachment has the word bearers keywords. There's nothing new there in that respect. What you are getting is a choice of 6 warlord traits to pick from now, and you're getting a choice of 4, 5, 6, 7 stratagems. I believe
I think everyone is 8 apart from the word bearers. They have 7. One thing as well, just to sort of add on, is that every one of those every legion has of their stratagems. One's a reprint from the codex.
Yes,
and
of course.
Their traits. One's a reprint from the codex. So you have 5 new traits, 6 to 7 new stratagems, but you do have about 6 new relics. The relics aren't repeated, which is quite nice. You do have a nice big selection of relics, as well as your tactical objectives and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So look, interesting. There's nothing about the word bearers that screams to me to suddenly make people, start flocking to the tables with them. Like word bearers, in my opinion, are like one of the most awesome Chaos Chapters legions because they are the first heretics. They are really evil and sinister, and I think that's really cool. However, sadly, I haven't seen them on the tabletop too much. Although DC from SN, he's got a lovely word bearers army, and he is still preaching the word. Good for him. It's cool if you love an army's background and the fluff to just keep using it. It doesn't have to be the best in the world. No. Is there anything that jumped out at either of you?
Exalted Possession is nice.
This is the Warlord trait.
Yes, this is a Warlord trait. You become a demon. You also get the Possess keyword. So this is where you can start doing those tricks, because now you can interact with the specialist attachments. You can interact with some of the other stratagems that they have. You get +1 strength, +1 attack, and +1 move as well, which actually for a Warlord trait is a lot of buffs.
It is a lot of buffs.
And then you can combo that with where are you? It's one of the...
It's the stratagem you're looking for,
isn't it? Revered Host,
yes.
+1 damage.
That's it.
For a possessed or a greater possessed model.
Yeah. Which makes a possessed bomb quite good.
Yeah.
Again, with the possessed bomb, it's always about, how do you get it there?
Yeah.
What's your delivery system? if they do get there and that strat's pulled off, they're going to be real nasty.
They're insane.
Yeah, but
You gotta get there.
you got to get there. You know, so you're going to load up in a rhino or two. At that
Mastodon.
Point, yeah, Mastodon.
I mean, the Wordbearers actually had quite a good number of stratagems. There's a lot of, like, again, I'm using the word tricks a lot here because, I mean, to me, that's what stratagem should be. It should be a really niche use, and you go...
Well, Malevolent Covenant's quite good.
It's really strong,
because
actually.
you basically, if you fail a psychic test, you go 1 CP, actually, no, I passed, with the minimum amount needed that are required.
But you can't deny it.
But you can't deny it. And you don't count as having a perils, but you do take 1 mortal wound.
But
Great.
For 1 CP.
you know what?
To know, like, imagine
You need
getting
more
death
time
hex
going
off.
off. You need death...
Yeah.
Precisely.
Oh, I need death hex.
Yeah.
So I remove the invuln on that. Like, that's really good. It's really strong.
You almost want to fail it.
This
You
is
do,
what we were kind of saying. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But this is what we were kind of saying, that in there's each legion seems to have something quite clutch like this, which seems to work really well. So that,
which is great. It's just not fixing the core units.
Yeah.
No.
Your core units just aren't as good as Space Marines, is what it basically comes down to. Right, Artifacts of the Word Bearers, Crown of the Blasphemer, improve the invulnerable save of a model with this relic by 1 to a maximum of 3+, subtract 1 from the leadership characteristics of enemy models. Yeah, cool.
That one's good.
Yeah, the Ashen Axe. +1 strength, -2 damage D3. Enemy units within an inch of this model of the relic cannot fall back unless they have the vehicle or Titanic keyword, or have a minimum move characteristics. Quite nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
It only replaces a chain axe, so it's a cheap upgrade for a Chaos Lord.
Yeah.
Like, you have a Chaos Lord with a jump pack running alongside your possessed for the rerolls anyway.
Yeah.
And now
Malefic Zone's good as well. Model with this relic knows 1 additional psychic power and adds 1 to the psychic test.
For all of his psychic tests, actually, which is quite nice. He's smiting
really
1 of 10.
Yeah,
which is good.
Really neat. So, I mean, you know, look, quite fluffy.
Yeah. They have some cool
Got
stuff.
some good tricks, but, you know, nothing... You know, as again, you're not getting any additional hardcore rules across the army. You're just getting a few of those extra tricks.
We're getting some good name generators, though.
There are some name generators in here, which are actually a lot of fun.
Yes.
I love
I was making some characters.
So Night Lords, again, I'm a massive fan of the Night Lords due to how terrifying they are. I've always wanted to see that fear, that visceral sort of terror, be applied in an intelligent way on the tabletop, to have rules to go with how they would fight. You're starting to get there now with this. Actually, this is one of the best versions of the Night Lords I've seen yet, and actually they've got some really cool stratagems to actually finally help some of those things like the Warp Talons actually be useful in a Chaos Space Marine army list. Warlord trait wise, where's the one which I thought was really cool? Killing Fury's alright. D3 extra attacks if you when you charge or do a heroic intervention.
One piece is
one
quite
piece
nice.
at a time. Yeah. This warlord can charge in the turn in which they fell back. When resolving an attack with a melee weapon against this warlord, subtract 1 from the hit roll. You know, again, pretty good. Murderous Reputation. An unmodified hit roll of 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound. And that's what I was thinking. I was thinking Murderous Reputation combined with the claws.
Yeah.
Could be quite cheeky.
He gets a bunch of attacks, and for every 6 that he rolls to wound... it's an unmodified hit roll of 6.
Hit.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that does a mortal wound in addition. So he still gets to attack, but he's just kind of headbutting you at the same time.
Because those claws, you get the 2+. On a 2+, you get that many more attacks as well. It's a way to potentially get those cheeky
you can
mortal
make it
wounds
really,
off.
really beefy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right, add 1 to the wound rolls, nice as well. Dirty Fighter.
Yeah, but you've got to have more. So this is the one. This is one where I look at it and I go, oh, this could have been really good. You could have hearkened to what they're like in the fluff. You could have had a little bit of a reference to the Horus Heresy rights in there, but it only affects him.
Yeah.
Whereas in Horus Heresy, they've got this amazing rule where if they outnumber your opponent in the fight phase, you just add +1 to wound.
Yeah,
which is because they just gang up on people, which is great. It's a nice nod to it, but that's the sort of rule where I'd be like, I would love to see that if your entire army is Night Lords.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Right, stratagems. Let's just kick off with Vox Screen.
Yeah.
It's very fluffy, but it's also really good. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select one enemy unit within 18 inches of any Night Lord's unit from your army. Until the start of your next movement phase, enemy units cannot be affected by any of the selected units or abilities.
By Chapter Master?
Yeah.
That's really huge. If you need to shut someone down, and with Night Lords, that's not impossible, because in theory you should be running some deep striking units, so you can get within 18 inches. Speaking of which, Raptor Strike, 1 CP, you roll 3d6 for your charge instead of 2d6.
Very good.
I thought it was pick the 2 highest. No. Oh, it's better than I thought. Yeah, you combo that with the Raptor.
But it's only 1
host.
CP.
Oh, that's good.
Because I believe the Blood Angels one is 2 CP.
It's 2 CP, yeah.
So this is cheaper. So
It is
chaos.
Yeah.
You get something.
And that goes on Night Lord's jump pack key unit. So Warp Talons are the combat unit, I would advise, because Raptors sadly are not that great in combat, very sadly. So yeah, but Warp Talons are awesome and they're fluffy for you anyway. So there we go. They've got lots of cool names like Prey on the Weak, We Have Come for You, Hit and Run, can charge even if you fell back. You know, that sort of jazz. So there is some good stuff in here for Night Lords, and I think now if you are a Night Lords player, you've actually got some utility for those jump pack units, which before you didn't really have. You know, there wasn't really great delivery options for you.
The Raptorial host came out and it was like +2 for a Warlord trait. You go, okay, in this very specific detachment. Whereas now it's a bit like, I mean, if you can combo that, you use Raptor Strike, you're making that charge. You are making that charge. Which is great.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of cool relics for combat. Talons of the Night Terror, Flayer, although I still think the combo with the Demon Claws, the Demon Weapon Claws, is probably the best. Save characteristic of 2+ with Stormbolt plates, and you always count as being in cover. That's quite nice. Vox Demonicus, Demonicus, there we go, hello. Whilst an enemy unit is within 6 inches of a model with this relic, reduce the range of that unit's aura abilities to 1 inch. Again, that's really good, but you've just got to be,
there
within 6 inches. In addition, enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 inches. That's useful. That's very, very useful. So look, that's Night Lords.
Yeah, see, I like. There's something that I read that and I kind of go,
It feels Night Lord.
It feels cool. Like I was, that was my favorite. I'm going to be honest. When I was reading them, I was like, this is cool. You could do some interesting stuff. Yeah,
I mean, look, here's the thing. These would actually all be really quite interesting pre-Space Marine Codex. You know, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's quite cool. But now, I suppose they feel a little overshadowed. But having said that, there is still, as I've said, there are some cool tricks. Alpha Legion, Iron Malfarius is in there, so you kill the Warlords, you give the Warlords, make someone else a Warlord, and they
I love that.
It's very fluffy.
It's so good.
And it's also very, very annoying when you can't kill their Warlord.
Just want to get that Kingslayer off.
Yeah, we've got, there was one stratagem which I thought was quite cool, Sabotaged Armory. Add 3 to, basically if you destroy a vehicle, your opponent has to add 3 to the explodes results. And they can't re-roll it. It's only 1 CP.
That's
great. If you destroy a vehicle in their lines, try and make it blow up.
I think that's really cool.
Ambush is in there, 2 CP. Select an enemy unit that's set up on the battlefield as reinforcements. Select 1 Alpha Legion unit from your army within 18 inches of that unit to shoot at the unit as if it were your shooting phase. That's really powerful. So if you've got
18 inches as well, isn't it?
If you've got a unit of Obliterators or Havocs or something beefy to open fire against that deep striking unit, that's going to be a real bad day for them. Real bad day. Scrambled Coordinates, I thought was really good. Because they've got a lot of debuff things, which is very really Alpha Legion. So a unit has to be set up more than 12 inches away as opposed to 9 inches away.
Yeah.
Which is really, really neat.
Especially if you get, one of those sorts of units that you know is going to come in.
Yeah.
And you know that it's going to cause you a problem either by being within 9 inches. And that actually now is ironically quite a good counter to some of the Space Marine stuff.
It is, yeah.
I've got 11-inch flamers. You go, don't care.
Yeah, you're out.
Yeah.
Or even Gene Stealer Cult.
Yeah, it's a huge one for that.
You have to force them to spend the CP on a perfect ambush to move them back to where they would have been.
Yeah.
So it's a great trade-off. It's, as you say, it's just very Alpha Legion-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind Veil's one of their really interesting relics. You roll 3d6 and that's your move characteristic. At the start of your movement phase. So you could be pretty fast, you could be slow, but obviously you could use a CP to reroll one of those. You also ignore everything. You move over other models and terrain as if they were not there. In the charge phase, a model with the relic can move across other models other than buildings as if they were not there. A model with this relic can charge in the turn in which they fell back. Quite an interesting relic. Obviously you could think about having a Demon Prince without wings with this guy, because saves you some points, and you've got a bit of a combat guy there.
Terminator Lord though.
But you could put it on a Terminator Lord. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
It's very rare that your movement's going to be less than the 5 that you already have. When you roll that 111, it's going to suck. But at the same time, when you roll that 18 with a Terminator Lord, it's going to be like, woohoo!
So look, it's an interesting one. Hydra's Teeth I've always liked because it's a chainsword, which is cool.
No, this is
that's right.
Yes,
it's not the Hydra Blade.
Yeah, the Hydra Blade is different.
This is
to
a
the
bolt
Hydra's
weapon
teeth.
now.
Yeah,
yes.
So you upgrade their bolt weapons.
That's right. Which weapon wounds on a 2+ unless it's targeting a vehicle or Titanic. In which case it's 6+. And you don't receive the benefit of cover. Yeah, okay.
The Shade Blade is good.
Yeah.
I like the Shade Blade.
Shade Blade, +1 strength, -3 damage D3, replacing a power sword or force sword. When resolving an attack against the bearer, subtract 1 from the hit roll.
Yeah. It's a flat boost to your power sword by making it actually good in combat with the D3 damage. +1 strength is a bonus, and then for a -1 to hit as well. Yeah. It's great.
Hydra's Whale's good.
Yes.
You use it in the turn at the start of the battle round. If a model with this relic is on the battlefield, it can activate the Hydra's Whale until the end of the battle round. When your opponent spends a command point on a 4+, they have to spend an extra 1 to use that stratagem.
You get Calibus.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's great. Again, the Alpha Legion are like...
Feels fluffy.
They feel really fluffy. They're very much like the Night Lords. You look at it and you go, that's really awesome. That's really cool. That's really cool. That's really cool. That's really cool. That's really fluffy. That feels like the army that you want them to be.
Yeah.
But then, as you say, if this had come out 6 months ago, Chaos Players would be loving life
frothy,
right now.
Yeah.
But
they just need the core book updated.
They need,
Simple as that.
But
then you go right. Okay, cool.
And then you've got it's something just minor, really. Do you know what I mean? Just a little extra something. Then suddenly you go, okay, cool. This is we can work with this.
Yeah, because there are some really cool stuff in here as we've been saying.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It actually seems a lot more enjoyable to play than normal Space Marines, because Space Marines is I'm just going to re-roll everything.
Point click reroll.
Point click. This is how it's going to work. And look, it's incredibly powerful, and if you're into your competitive play, that's fine. But this is like, oh, I'm going to build like this list around this particular stratagem, and let's see if it pays off. And when it does, the satisfaction of looking your opponent in the eye and that sinking feeling as they just disappear and you wipe their army off the board. There's nothing better.
No,
there's nothing better.
No, it's cool. And I know Beard. Speaking of Beard, Iron Warriors, he's very excited about these. There are some cool things. We've got Siege Master. When resolving an attack mage, this is a warlord trait, by a ranged weapon by a model in a friendly Iron Warriors Havocs or Iron Warriors vehicle unit within 6 inches of the warlord, reroll a wound roll of 1.
Yep,
very cool.
Great. They finally get reroll 1s to wound against with shooting. It's a shame that it's very specific, but you know what? Again, it's fluffy. The Iron Warriors will have Havocs and vehicles everywhere.
You're probably going to be running those units, so why not? Demon Smith, when resolving an attack made by a model in a friendly Iron Warriors Demon Engine or Iron Warriors Cult of Destruction unit within 6 inches of this warlord, a non-modified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit.
Yeah.
So, you could picture your Hades autocannon guys being a little bit more useful there with the Forge Fiends, but they're still very expensive.
I don't know.
They're still only hitting on 4.
Yeah, I'm thinking a Disco Lord with 3 Mauler Fiends, because that's not just shooting.
Yes, that is true. That works really, really well there. That works really well. That's probably your best synergy, actually.
That's some rip and tear right there. It is unmodified rolls of 6, so you don't get the bonuses for the Disco Lords +1, but...
I think it would work with the Decimators from Forge World as well.
They are a demon engine, I believe, yes.
So that, because they've got the Butcher Cannons that you can have.
You can do the Butcher Cannons or potentially the Soul Burners.
The Soul Burners.
So for every 6, you do an extra hit, which just becomes more wounds. So you're just absolutely spamming more wounds.
So you got some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Then we get onto the stratagems. Actually, some of these stratagems are really quite good.
Yes.
Rampant Technovirus, only 1 CP. Select an Iron Warriors Obliterator or Iron Warriors Mutilator units. Until the end of that phase, you can reroll any or all D3 rolls for that Flesh Metal Guns or Flesh Metal Weapons ability. So the damage, the strength, the AP, that's really, really
makes
good.
It actually... then to me makes obliterators worth their points because now they've got the reliability. You still have to spend a CP on it, but you know what? When you got to do it, you got to do it.
Unholy Vigor I really like because it's only 1 CP and your vehicle regains 3 wounds.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, on Beards the radios, that's really nasty.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work?
No. Because
Iron Warriors vehicle?
Forge World Machina Malefica rule says they can only ever heal wounds by eating stuff in combat. They cannot restore wounds in any other way.
So in which case you'll have to do it on... Well,
do it on your Disco Lord though.
Disco Lord, Predator. That's it really. Then we've got, there was another one, Methodical Annihilation. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase. When an Iron Warriors unit from your army is chosen to shoot with, select one of the following effects to last until the end of that phase. When resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, you can re-roll the damage roll. You can re-roll any or all of the dice to determine the type characteristic of weapons that models in that unit are equipped with.
Yes, you can only pick one of those. Yeah, you select one of them.
Yeah.
But you know, if you've got a unit of las cannons, and that's until the end of that phase, so you combo that with Endless Cacophony and all that sort of stuff, and now all of a sudden you're just re-rolling your damage everywhere. Again, it's a 1 CP stratagem that gives you the reliability of a command re-roll, but across multiple models. It's a similar principle to the Chapter Master. You spend it, but it pays for itself within 1 round.
It's a no-brainer.
It makes Les Cannon Havocs just a really
super good,
really
super reliable.
And they're great models, so why not? Tank Hunters is pretty good as well. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that Iron Warriors unit against that selected unit, you can re-roll the wound roll. You can't do it on cultists, but it's select 1 enemy vehicle unit. For that, so that's quite good. Right, some artifacts. They've got quite a lot of combat style artifacts. Siegebreaker Mace, Axe of the Forge Master, Spiked Spitter. It's a rapid fire 2 bolter or combi bolter. D3 damage, pretty cool. Techno Venomous Mecha Tendrils. These actually do mortal wounds.
If you just hit,
cool.
you do mortal wounds.
Which is quite nice. And then they've got Cranium Malevolus, and they've got Insidium. Cranium Malevolus is in your shooting phase. A model with this relic can use the Cranium Malevolus instead of shooting. Roll a d6 for each enemy vehicle within 9 inches of that model. On a 4 to 5, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 6, that unit suffers 3 mortal wounds. Again, be great on something like a Disco Lord that's trying to get up into...
It's going to be eating vehicles anyway.
So that's Iron Warriors. We've only got the 2 left, which is the Emperor's Children and the World Eaters. Now, the Emperor's Children, in my opinion, are definitely one of the winners of the book. They've got some really, really good stratagems, in my opinion. And again, it would be one of those armies which would be great to see on the tabletop more, but you don't see very often currently. Mainly, I think, as well, because the sonic weapon upgrades are either available via Finecast, and in fact, I don't even think they work with the new Chaos Space Marine kits. So I don't know. Well, because I had a whole Emperor's Children army, which I very stupidly sold, all painted and converted back in the day. But if you're watching this and you want to sell it back to me, you can. The arms go on the old bodies, but in the new Chaos Space Marine kit, a lot of the arms are already sculpted onto the body, and like you get like half a front and half a back. So that's a really interesting point. I don't even know how that's going to work. Forge World Cacophony from 30k.
Yeah.
Are an option for Noise Marines.
You're a millionaire.
Yeah, they're expensive. So, what we've got here, Warlord traits.
Stimulated by pain is the best.
Yeah,
just fluff wise.
Add 1 to your Warlord's attacks characteristic for each wound he has suffered to a maximum of +3. If your Warlord regains any lost wounds, then the ability's lost. It is very, very cool.
I just love it.
Glutton for punishment. Reduce damage inflicted by 1 to a minimum of 1. Yeah, funnily enough, there isn't any like big buff ones. When resolving an attack made by an enemy unit within 3 inches of this Warlord to trap 1, they're all...
Intoxicating Musk is... Yeah.
They're all personal,
quite
which
self-centric, which
perfect for Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, combat elixirs. Let's kick off with where I think they are starting to win. So pick an Emperor's Children unit that is not a vehicle or a cultist unit. You can add 1 to their attacks characteristic, 1 to their strength characteristic, 2 to their move characteristic, or 1 to their toughness characteristic. You can only use the stratagem once per battle, but that is a really flexible buff to give to whatever unit it is you're trying to make really, really cool. Be it a possessed unit, be it a big blob of Noise Marines, whatever the situation may be. Excruciating frequencies, 1 CP. Select a Noise Marine unit. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the strength and damage characteristic of Blastmasters, Sonic Blasters, and Doom Sirens. You can still take them in phalanxes of 20, so you could whack a couple of Blastmasters and 18 Sonic Blasters in there, and that's a lot of ignoring cover, strength 5 Daka with 2 damage. Absolutely brutal. Bargain for 1 CP. The only problem is a big blob of 20 is kind of expensive, but frankly, if you're an Emperor's Children player, you're running at least 1 blob of 20, and I would argue, and then you might be running MSU units of 5. I would argue though, like, why not just go all out and run 3 blobs of 20, because it's awesome. It's awesome. The competitive way is probably still to do 6 units of 5. But having said that, something like excruciating frequencies now, I would strongly consider 3 large blobs. Because that's really strong.
Mixed in with combat elixirs as well.
Yes.
I'd probably increase their toughness just to make them harder to kill.
Exactly.
Plus 1 toughness.
Plus 1 toughness.
Then you give him the
whack me cover.
Whack me cover. Have a sorcerer nearby for presence, a lord nearby for your reroll 1s. You slap veterans on them. You cacophony. You just
then you use the Slaanesh power for the Feel No Pain.
I mean,
That's
you know,
what you do.
we've got
That's
this
what you do,
one
guys.
unit that is as absolutely tough as nails.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. And you spent all this CP on it, but let's be fair, if you're within 24 inches of that unit, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in some real trouble.
It's true. It's nasty. It's really nasty.
Yeah,
I love it.
I like it.
Right. Any of the others that you like? Honor the Prince.
Honor the Prince is very good.
Use stratagem in your charge phase. Yes, of course. Yeah. Emperor's Children making a charge. After making a charge roll for an Emperor's Children Slaanesh unit from your army, you can change the result of one of the d6 rolled to a 6.
Yeah.
Only
It's so good. And because it's done after the charge as well, you don't have to go, I'm going to use it and make one of these a 6 and just roll a d6. You can go, I rolled an 11 anyway, I make it in, I'll save my CP.
Yeah.
But the amount of times where we've got a 9-inch charge to make, there's a 6 and a 1. Oh, I've got to spend a CP to reroll. No, just slap a 6
now,
on
what
there.
you can do is you can actually whack this on your Prince with the Talons.
Yeah. In the Host Raptorial.
Yeah. And the Host Raptorial. Yeah, exactly.
For the +2, you cannot fail the charge.
Yeah, you cannot fail the charge.
So again, really cool tricks.
Yeah.
Tricky stuff.
There's loads of cool stuff they
I
can
want
do.
my Emperor's Children army back.
Who has it?
I would run this, and I think I could do pretty well with it. I think, but I mean, it's not Space Marine level of power, but I can give him a challenge. Right, artifacts of the Emperor's Children, the Endless Grin. What a relic name! When a morale test is taken for an enemy unit within 6 inches of a model with this relic, your opponent must roll 1 additional d6. And you can choose one of those dice to be discarded, subtract 1 from the leadership characteristics of models in enemy units whilst they're within 6 inches. It's pretty cool. It's nothing to scream home about. But
Grin home about, maybe?
yeah. Oh, that's very clever.
Yeah.
The Raiment Revulsive. When resolving an attack made by a model with this relic, you can re-roll the hit roll and you can re-roll the wound roll. When a charge roll is made for a model with this relic, you can re-roll the result.
Just re-roll everything for combat.
Why not?
It's so good.
Remnant of the Maraviglia. Priest model only. Once per battle, instead of chanting a prayer, a model with this relic can broadcast a remnants until the end of that battle round. When resolving an attack made by a model from a friendly Emperor's Children unit within 6 inches of a model with this relic, you can re-roll the wound roll.
Yeah, so you just get a 6-inch bubble of everyone can re-roll wound rolls, and that lasts for the battle round, so that's in shooting and in melee.
Yeah.
Great for even for a once per game relic. Yeah. It's very, very good. Yeah. They've got a lot of cool stuff in there.
Your noise marine blob is getting crazy.
Yeah.
I wish I had them. Yeah. They were so cool. I had like all of these rhinos and the predators that I had done. I had them all converted with sonic weapons, and I put all of these candles on the rhinos. It was really sinister. Nice. It was really horrible.
Very cool.
I had 35 noise marines painted, blastmasters, doom sirens, and listen,
that's enough. Cool. Yeah, don't worry.
I did do my World Eaters though, so there we go. Right, now we're on to the World Eaters. Sargaroth must be pleased, having some new abilities. We've got obviously a host of new warlord traits. I don't know, ironically we kept always picking the normal Chaos Warlord trait rather than the World Eaters one from Chaos Space Marines. Now perhaps we can look at something else. Violent Urgency. When an advance or charge roll is made for a friendly World Eaters unit within 6 inches of this Warlord, add 1 to the result. Obviously that's a pretty cool buff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Arch Slaughterer. Add D3 to the Warlord's attacks characteristic if there are more enemy models within 3 inches of him.
Yes!
This is really
So, there's no monetary limit. There's no other limit on that, is there? Because I know sometimes you get these sorts of rules, and like if there's 5 or more models, it's just so if he's fighting 2 people, he just I'll just have extra attacks.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. The Disciple of Khorne's quite interesting. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by this warlord against an enemy character unit or a unit that contains models with a wounds characteristic of 5 or more, you can re-roll the hit roll and re-roll the wound roll. So that makes him better against those tougher things, which is quite cool. Battle Lust, heroic intervention of up to 6 inches, which is really neat, and fight first in the fight phase. Mm-hmm. So look, I mean, okay, I can live with that. Then we have the World Eater Stratagem. Scorn of Sorcery was straight out of the book. Yep. It's still really good. Deny on a 4+, which is it's a very powerful stratagem for only 1 CP to stop a clutch power. Yep. Apoplectic Frenzy, free 9-inch move before the game begins. Battle round, that's decent.
Yeah.
The problem is it implies that your infantry are on.
They have to be on the board.
And
it's very risky to do that.
The reality is you're running them in rhinos if you're a World Eaters player.
And you do it in deployment. Yeah. So you have to do it. I mean, you could.
You want first turn, basically. You can't guarantee it.
You can't always guarantee that you got the first turn because seize is a thing. I mean, the thing is, you could use that if you know that you're going to have first turn, and then you want to risk it against the seize. And then if you do get seized, you could then go, okay, I'll do it defensively and move behind line of sight. But are you really playing Khorne if you're running behind cover?
I would do it every time. Every time.
Do you know, so I had a long look at World Eaters because I've had Sanger painting up some World Eaters for some, adding to my World Eaters for some surprises which are coming up soon, some very cool battle reports. But I think competitively that the only way to run them is probably with 3 Disco Lords, 6 Rhinos, 6 MSU units of Berserkers with a Power Fist in each block. Yeah. So just MSU it, because you can't. The funny thing is you can't even afford to really fill up every Rhino with 10.
No.
Because
they're still expensive.
You get too many eggs in one basket, so you've got to split the baskets as far as possible, as wide as possible to get there. To make it, and use the Rhinos to shut the opponents down, and then you still need some fire supports, which at that point you can look at things like the Kaitan's actually really quite interesting again because of that point shot from the last chapter approved. But yeah, you have to look at what you're going to do. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let's talk about a couple of these relics.
Oh, just this one.
Or do you like the Stoke the Nails?
Stoke the Nails, I think, is really good.
Alright, so use the stratagem in the fight phase. When a World Eater's infantry or World Eater's biker unit from your army that is not a Chaos Cultist is chosen to fight with, yes, of course, this is a great one, Bo. Until the end of that phase, that unit's Death to the False Emperor ability takes effect when targeting any enemy units, except if it's an Imperium unit, it goes off on a 5-up.
It's nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
It's nice.
It's really good. Red Butchers for 2 CP is good as well, to be fair. Add 1 to the strength characteristic of models in that unit for a Chaos Terminator unit. Plus they get blood for the Blood God, which basically in layman's terms means you're a real World Eater now. You can fight twice in combat.
Yeah.
I wish that they'd have done this. This is the kind of pre-game stratagem that is actually interesting.
Yeah.
And if they'd have done this for every single Space Marine unit, and they go, oh yeah, here's, there's the Red Butchers. Here's the Phoenix Guard. Or what were they? No, but
the Phoenix Guard for the Emperor's
Children. Here, I mean, we've got not the Blight Lords. What are they called for the Death Guard?
Blight Lord Terminators.
No, the ones with the scythes.
The Bodyguard.
Yeah, the Death Shroud.
Death Shroud. We've got Death Shroud. We've got the Scarab Occult. But then that's the sort of one that you would have liked to have seen for, say, White Scars. Have the Keshig. Have them for and give them those sorts of make it expensive, but give them a really cool buff like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, that's the sort of CP where someone who plays really fluffy can go, yes, I'm going to do this every game because of my converted models, which look really cool.
It adds so much flavour.
Have it so it's like or have your noise Terminators, that everyone always sort of goes on about.
That's right.
Things
I
like
wanted
that.
my Sonic Terminators.
Sonic Terminators, get them back. Things like that would have been really, really cool. That would have been a really, really cool way of doing it.
It's not too much to ask.
No.
But we see it there.
Can you imagine how horrible that is, being hit with a Sonic weapon? Just imagine that for a minute.
I don't want to imagine that.
Emperor's Children are so cool because they're so evil. Right. You can't, they're just so horrible. That's the thing. Right, anyway. We've got now the artifacts of the World Eaters. The Berserker Glaive. +1 strength, -2 damage 2. Now, I always had a bit of an issue for Lord Sargaroth in the Chaos Space Marine Codex, because actually I didn't really rate the Khorne relics other than the Talisman of Burning Blood, which is the reroll charge. But I was like, give me a really good axe. So I ended up having always the chain axe and the power fist on it.
Yeah.
That's no good. We want a Khorne axe or something. So Berserker Glaive, replace the power axe or axe of dismemberment only. As I said, it's +1 strength, -2 damage 2. When the bearer loses a wound, roll a d6. On a 5+, that wound is not lost. Look, it's better than the normal axe, because the normal axe you can't re-roll in the Chaos Space Marine book. If you roll once to hit, you lose your own buff. You can't re-roll it. It's no good. Gorefather, model with a chain axe only. This could be an option. This is flat damage 3.
Hello.
This has Sargaroth's attention.
Okay.
It's +2 strength, -2. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Okay. And on an unmodified wound roll of a 6, the target suffers 3 mortal wounds, and the attack sequence ends.
So if you roll a 6 to win, you do mortal wounds. I get the dislike of the -1, but it kind of makes sense from a fluff perspective, because this is one of Angron's axes. Even a Space Marine would be struggling to lift one of these.
Not Sargaroth.
Yeah, I know, but he's not exactly Khan.
Khan! He would beat Khan.
I don't know.
I don't know about that. Mate.
No.
So fun fact, Sargaroth has died in every single battle report that's ever been filmed.
Yeah.
Katniss Bane's
Is
killed him
that
like
fun?
3 times. Do you know that?
Is that fun?
He's killed him like 3 times.
Don't speak.
But clearly, he is one of Khorne's favourite servants, because he keeps coming back.
That's true, yeah. Banner of Rage, Priest model only. Once per battle, at the start of the fight phase, a model with this relic can unfurl the Banner of Rage. If they do, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of models in friendly World Eaters units whilst they're within 6 inches of that model. Because, wow, just have all of the attacks in the world.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yes, it is. Look, they've got the Helm of Furor, add 2 to the strength characteristic of a model with this relic at the start of your charge phase. If a model with this relic is within 8 inches of any enemy units, it must declare a charge.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's infantry, so you can't give it to your prince. Crimson Killer is a badass pistol. Blood Hunger. When an enemy model is destroyed in a fight phase as a result of an attack made by a model with this relic, roll 1d6. On a 4+, the model with this relic regains up to 1 lost wound. So for me, the winner is Gorefather. I don't mind the Berserker glaive because it's reliable and it makes Sargaroth just a little bit more resilient because he's always dying. But Gorefather is obviously the hefty weapon. Flat damage 3, 6, doing 3 mortal wounds.
I'm all about the Banner of Rage.
Yeah,
I think
the +1 attack is obviously very, very powerful.
Yeah, it's very good. I think the only issue that I have with the World Eaters in comparison to the others is all the others kind of make you feel like, you know, here is an enhancement to your fluff-wise. Yeah. That's not to say that the World Eaters wasn't fluffy, but all they're doing is going, you're good at combat, let's make you even better at combat. And World Eater players are probably really more like, but I know that I'm good at combat, I need to get there.
Yeah.
That's my problem. Whereas, you know, things like the Alpha Legion, it's very difficult to have that sort of feeling. Same with the Night Lords. It's very difficult to have that feeling of the fluff and translate it into the game. And I think that they managed to do that with those armies, whereas the World Eaters is just kind of, let's just make them better at combat, which they already are.
I think what they should have done for just one unit is allow them to disembark after movement.
Yeah.
I think that should be a strat.
Yeah, a strat. And you know, it's only one unit.
Yeah. Maybe even temper it a bit by going, roll a dice for each model that jumps out, or, you know.
Yeah, because you're moving, so like it's
on
like
one, one of them dies.
One of them dies or something.
But you know what? I'll do that every time.
Every time.
Yep. You know what I would do? I would have these like supplements, and that would be your trait if you had every model in your detachment had the World Eaters.
For World Eaters, that would be great.
What's up?
That would be great.
Things like that.
Is good.
Yeah, things like that. You know,
you'd put that on the table. People would be like.
And something like the Emperor's Children, but you could really make that work with the way that the armies and kind of hearken to the Horus Heresy stuff a little bit. You know, World Eaters, you could be, like these are sonic weapons. You know, Blastmaster, Doom Siren, what's the other one? What's Sonic Blast?
Sonic Blast. Yeah.
And have it kind of work like an Elder Vibro cannon.
Yeah.
Keep a sonic tally for every unit that suffers an unsaved wound from a sonic weapon. If that unit is attacked by another unit with a sonic weapon, increase the AP of the weapons by whatever you've got the sonic tally on. So if you've hit them with one unit, your next unit's doing AP1, your next unit's doing AP2.
Yeah, it represents the more that
they're just getting utterly obliterated by these sonic waves.
Very cool, powerful, but fluffy.
But fluffy and fits the theme. There's all kinds of things that you could do like that.
But look, here's the thing. This is what I'm going to say. I think. I still am extremely excited about the future of Chaos Space Marines because whilst this, again, it feels like I said that when we did the first review, it feels like a stopgap to me, guys. So I wouldn't get, if you're a Chaos player, I wouldn't get too, rolled up in, this is not the answer I was looking for, this isn't Space Marines. You'll need a new codex, guys. That's what you need. Everyone needs an updated codexes now. Yeah. So, have faith. And fury that it will come. I'm very positive that actually, given the power of Space Marines, we can only start to see that sort of format, that rules writing format, if you like, start to roll out in the new books. And we haven't had a new book since Space Marines, really. No. These are supplements and just that. And as I say, it feels like a stopgap. A must-have, really, if you're a Chaos player, because we do want to start trying to make them, work against their Space Marine brothers in the meantime. But look, we'll see what happens. So look, that is Psychic Awakening. Look out for the battle report soon for the incredible new Adeptus Sororitas. These are really, really cool. We won't talk about them now, but my goodness, the models, the rules, everything's really fun. So look out for that coming very, very soon. And until next time, we're going to leave it there. We'll see you in another review or battle report very soon. This has been Tabletop Tactics.